Sherlock Weasel is back on the case, and this time it's Alex Pereira, who got accused of SA, but much further, like the worst part of that. And it's by some girl named Meredith Brown, who's a TikToker and also an OF star who posts very provocative content. Well, she came out on TikTok and alleged all these different things about what Pereira did to her, and not only that, but Pereira was with one of his friends who she calls Mel, which I don't think is his translator. I think it's another fighter that's his friend, and she had a friend with her as well. And thanks to my detective team, they have found that it might be, not 100% concrete, but it might be this girl named Jessie, who's on Instagram that happened to unfollow each other. So both Meredith and Jessie unfollowed each other, which is very strange. Now Meredith's Instagram has been taken down, whether she deleted it. There have been people that said that they saw her deactivate and reactivate it over and over again. Perhaps she's the one that deleted her Instagram account, but we have some highlights from her and her friend. It looks like Jessie, this is her highlights right here. She's at the arena of UFC 302. And here's Meredith's highlight, where it looks like they're sitting right next to each other. But it seems like that might be the friend of Meredith, who she linked up with Alex Pereira through, right? Fight Clock MMA on Twitter did a really good job on finding a lot of this stuff, as well as P3RX_310. Now, a lot of this information is just going around Twitter and stuff. There is this screenshot that, if it's real, she pretty much admits to it all being fake, and this is just clear-cut evidence for Alex Pereira to sue her for defamation, and he would absolutely win very easily. But the thing is, it could also be fake. It's a screenshot of a DM that someone had with this Meredith girl. So take it with a grain of salt. It could be true, but we just don't know. But according to Meredith, she says she was never a big UFC fan. She didn't even know who Alex Pereira was, which is kind of strange because she was at UFC 299. She actually posted that she was there. There's a video of her and she flashed the audience when Sean O'Malley won the fight. So I don't really believe her that she knew who O'Malley is, but she doesn't know who Pereira is. Alex Pereira is the face of the UFC. He's the most relevant name in the sport. It's hard to go through any UFC social media platform or even watch their fights on TV without Alex Pereira being mentioned somewhere. So her not knowing who he is kind of strange. She also took a picture with him, but she says she's not a fan. She didn't know who he was. He wanted to take a picture with her instead. Okay, I mean, it's possible, right? It is possible he saw a girl that he thought was attractive and was like, yo, can I take a picture with you after I just took a picture with your friend? Okay, it is possible, but it's not too believable, logically. And this is all before we get into the whole SAing that she alleged. That's just a bit of a backstory there. Oh, and on all of her social media accounts, she has a link to her OF as well. Now, this doesn't mean that an OF girl cannot be SA'd. Of course they can, but it is something that we have to note as well, because if she is proven to be false, or she's telling a false allegation, then it's most likely to be true that she's drawing people into clicking on that link to subscribe to her. And that seems to be the biggest claim from MMA fans toward her, that that's what she's doing. Especially after you hear her story, a lot of people don't seem to believe her at all. Now, firstly, before we get into it, it's always innocent until proven guilty. Alex Pereira and the girl are both innocent until any good proof is brought forward. Pereira has not even spoken on the matter at all, so we cannot even bring him into this, whether he's innocent or guilty at all. We have to always give a defendant in this public court, which is a very strange thing, but that's essentially what it's become before it ever goes to an actual court, which it should go to. Anytime there's any allegation like this, it should be brought to the authorities, it should be brought to the police, and should be handled in the court with professionals. She decided to go to TikTok instead and never contacted the authorities as far as our knowledge goes. She never mentioned it at all, and I think that's a very important detail of her entire story, that she went to the authorities. And at the end of the video, I'm going to show some of the things that she posted after this alleged story, right? She was posting stuff on her OF, Twitter, and her TikTok the day after all of this. But before that, it's always going to be public court. And the defendant in Alex Pereira has not said anything, and until he does, there's no verdict on whether he's guilty. We always have to give everybody a chance to speak. Now, on her part, she brought some kind of evidence. It's her story and the picture she took with Pereira. That's the only evidence she brought forward, even though she says she has more. She didn't post any of it yet. She says she has texts. She says she has camera footage and all this stuff, CCTV footage in different places that she was with Pereira, because she went around the place with him throughout the night. It wasn't just at the hotel where the alleged SA happened. Well, here's the videos of Meredith Brown speaking about the whole thing, and I'll be pausing pausing it throughout just to give a bit of my commentary, of course. There are a lot of like baseless claims that have no relevance at all to the story, which she wants to hammer at home for some reason. Like for an example, when she keeps saying that he's done this before, right? He's done this before. Saying something like that actually hurts her if she ever wants to take that to court. And also her saying like he tried to take her socks off and she didn't want to because she has blisters on her feet. She was very detailed on that, which is not really relevant to the story about blisters and some other stuff like that.
Okay, this is like my 40th time trying to make this video, so I'm going to try to do it again without crying. Alex Pereira's assistant, translator, I don't know who he is to him. His name is Mel. My friend followed him on Instagram over 2 months ago. He DM'd her after she follows him, asks her questions like how long she had been doing kickboxing for, how she got into it, stuff like that. He asks her if she's going to the fight in New Jersey that we went to. I don't know what number it was.
UFC 302, which she actually tags in her description. Now, for her to say that she didn't know it, I don't know, man. She was at 299, which was a couple months before, but okay.
I'm not into it like that, like she is. This was my first time ever meeting Alex or knowing who he was. I'm not a huge UFC fan. I just got into it because my friend was into it. Alex's assistant, translator, best friend, whoever he was, his name is Mel, asks my friend if she wants to meet up with him in New Jersey when she goes to the fight. He also says that Alex is wondering if she has a friend for him. I know it sounds stupid and unbelievable because I couldn't believe it myself. Why is this guy asking a 20-year-old girl to put him on with one of her friends when he's a 30-year-old, however, father who should be able to just, like, talk to a woman his age at the fight?
Okay, so she's trying to paint the narrative already that it's creepy. This 30-something-year-old man wants to do something with a 20-year-old girl. Why is that? It's creepy, right? That's kind of what she's implying here, which might be true. Some people believe that, but they are two consenting adults at the end of the day. It's not something I would do. It's not something I think most men would want to do. Go for some girl who's way younger than they are, but still of legal age. But if that's what he wants, it's not like it's illegal or something like that. It seems like an irrelevant claim other than to start off the entire story as it's already creepy. So they went to New Jersey. When Mel asked if she had a friend for Alex Pereira, what else does that mean? Do you have a friend for Alex Pereira? Now, she could be very naive. She could be very just young and doesn't understand it. But in most cases, people are very socially aware on what that means. I think most men and women know what that means. Do you have a friend for my friend? There's an indication there on what Mel and Pereira want in this story, but that's not going to exonerate him if he did essay her. But it is something to point out on the motive from both Mel and Pereira, that it doesn't seem like they were hiding what they wanted.
It was planned out on purpose because he does this all the time. My friend sends Mel, the assistant and the translator, whoever he was, he never really gave us an explanation who he was. She sends him my Instagram. Mel shows Alex my Instagram. Apparently, the only thing he said was, "Chama." I'll try and find the text proof where my friend was telling me this. Which is disgusting now that I know what his intent was. We go to New Jersey. Mel hits up my friend, invites us both to a private training at a gym called Cruz MMA, where Alex is training. We're the only women in there except for this older woman who's married to one of the people that's also sparring.
So they were at Cruz MMA. That's also a gym that Pereira does train at?
I'm hoping I can find security footage. My friend spars with him. I videotape the whole time, and I'm sitting down watching. I can post the video that I took also, where my friend is sparring with him. Him and Mel take me and my friend outside of the gym that we were in after the training session. He comes on to me, goes behind me, looks at my ass, and approves to his translator, which is also disgusting now that I know what his intent was, like I was cattle or something. Mind you, this man doesn't speak any English. I don't know what he's saying the entire time. His translator is translating for me everything he's saying and everything I'm saying.
Okay, so this is also very important. Alex Pereira does not know English, and he has never spoken English to her at all at this point. And he had interest in her, looking her up and down and stuff. It's very important to tally up all the things that he did. There should have been an alarm for her to know what he wanted out of this whole engagement with her and her friend. So number 1, Mel said, do you have a friend for Alex Pereira? Number 2, he's looking her up and down, checking her from behind and stuff. And she knows that he was doing that. Let's go further.
He tries to kiss me outside of Crew's MMA gym. I grab his face and I push him away. I will try to find security footage from a building around it if possible.
Now, if she can get that footage of her pushing away Alex Pereira, who's trying to kiss her in public from a CCTV camera, that would be a big thing for her to get. Because if he was trying to kiss up on her and she pushed him away, it does prove some of her allegations here, that he is willing to do that. But if she pushed him away and he stopped, that's a different argument, according to her. But if she can get that footage, it'd be very, very big for her.
We leave the training. They then invite us to like a meeting or like something that was outside where they were like signing stuff, I guess. I don't know. But we turned it down because it was outside and it was super hot and we had already done our makeup and gotten ready for the UFC fight that night.
Okay, wait, hold on now. So he made these advancements 3 times now. So number 1, Mel asked if there was a friend for Alex Pereira, who was Meredith. That's the first hint on what Pereira was going for. Number 2, he checked her out, right? Number 3, he tried to kiss her. Allegedly. Most girls at this point, if they found it creepy, they would not pursue this man anymore. Or they would not accept any invitations from a creepy man who's trying to kiss them out of nowhere, looking them up and down, wants a friend for them. But they invited her to come out to New Jersey for some kind of signings, meetings and stuff like that. They turned it down because it was hot. Not because Pereira was creepy and it's a bad vibe, but because it was hot outside. Then they invited her to go to the fights with them, which she agrees to go after. So it looks like up until this point, she's okay with everything. Because if she wasn't, she wouldn't be meeting up with Pereira anymore. But let's go further.
So they then invite us to dinner before the UFC fight. We were going to go out, according to them, but he sends us an address and our Uber takes us to a very nice hotel where Alex is staying and a bunch of, I guess, UFC fighters are also there. His assistant and translator, Mel, brings us into this fancy hotel. I can find security footage proof of this also.
Okay, so they brought her to a hotel, and she could get CCTV footage that she was actually there. I don't think the footage is going to show anything that happened, but it can at least show that she was at the hotel.
And it's just a bunch of, like, UFC people sitting in a circle, and Alex looks up at us, looks angry as fuck, and tells his assistant Mel to take us out of the hotel. And everyone is looking at us like, who are these girls? Why are they here? I don't know either. I'm just, like, there because they asked us to, and, like, I didn't realize they were bad people. He makes us leave the hotel, and he brings us to the Courtyard Marriott across the street from it. They have 2 hotel rooms that they have already bought for that night, which is disgusting. It was all planned out.
Okay, so number 4 now on that list. They booked 2 hotel rooms with the 2 women. Now there's 4 points here that's directing on what Pereira is looking for. It should be red flags to her, and she says she understood all of it. Like, she knew all of this was going on, but she's still pursuing further. This entire time, it seems like they could have just left. If she felt very creeped out or whatever, she could have called the police. Like, she could have done a lot of different things instead of following wherever Pereira is going.
They take us to the Courtyard Marriott across the street from the actual hotel that Alex is staying at. We go to the restaurant in the like lobby of the Courtyard Marriott. I can find security footage proof of this also. They buy us a flatbread pizza, and then they ask, well, Mel is asking all of this. Alex doesn't speak any English, he's just translating.
Again, Alex does not speak any English.
Mel asks us how old we are. I said, I'm 21. My friend says that she's 20 years old, not old enough to drink alcohol. So he talks to Alex, tells him how old we say we are, and then they buy us, I think, 2 glasses of wine.
Okay, this is a big red flag. It looks like she probably doesn't know this about Pereira, and this is a big part of the story where a lot of people stop believing her. Alex Pereira has recovered from alcoholism, which was destroying his life. This is very well documented. This is what brought him on the path of kickboxing and then eventually MMA. This is what made him who he is when he stopped drinking alcohol. For him to serve drinks to these girls is very contradicting to Alex Pereira's lifestyle. It could be possible if he wanted to hook up with her that he would serve them alcohol and not drink any alcohol himself. Like, it could be possible that he was very methodical in that way, but she is talking about how her friend is 20 years old and they're giving drinks to her. So that's another big allegation right there. If you're serving drinks to anyone who's under 21 years old, that's a crime. She says there's security footage of it. If they can get security footage that Alex Pereira or his friend were giving alcohol to that 20-year-old, that's a big thing against them.
So, mind you, they're buying alcohol for a 20-year-old girl that is not old enough to drink alcohol, and this is on security footage. Didn't make me sign an NDA before he did any of this. Like, just did it because he does this all the time, probably. It was so routine and planned out.
So there's that one thing. She says that he does this all the time. It's a completely baseless accusation. I think she's pointing that out because it was so methodical in her mind that he has to have done this before. He has to be a master at this, right? That's, I think, what she's getting at. I don't want to put words in her mouth. I don't want to build a case for her or anything, but it looks like that's probably what she is saying here. But it's very baseless. I don't think she can even prove that. Now, here's the other thing that makes me question the story. Why would she drink alcohol when they serve it to her after all of these creepy moves that he made on her? She went to this new hotel, they gave her drinks, and she just willingly drank them. Or at least that's what is implied. I don't think they forced her to drink it or anything, right? If they did, she left that out of her story.
They're giving us drinks. Alex won't get off of me. I'm not into it because I don't know this man. I don't like being touched if I am not, like, if I don't know you and I'm not comfortable with you. Even if you're my family member, I just don't like being touched. I'm starting to get tipsy and I feel sick because I don't do well when I drink. But I'm trying to calm my nerves. He won't get off of me. He keeps asking me to go to the bathroom with him, or he's asking Mel, and Mel is telling me this, so I guess this is how he gets away with it, because he didn't technically, well, no, because he did it. He just technically didn't say any of it to my face. He said it through his translator, and his translator said it to my face, but his translator wasn't the one who assaulted me.
So there's another point of advancement from Alex Pereira that she saw as creepy. So let's go through the whole thing again. So number 1 again, do you have a friend for Alex Pereira? Number 2, checking her up and down. Number 3, try to kiss her. Number 4, brought her to the hotel. Number 5, gave her drinks. Number 6, tried to touch her now. And now number 7, he wants her to come to the bathroom with him. And you can see she knows what that means. She knows when Alex Pereira asks her that or talks to the translator, she knows what he wants out of it. So she is aware.
He's telling his translator to ask me to go to the bathroom with him. I'm telling him no because I don't do that. I get uncomfortable and nervous. And as much as you guys think that I'm this, like, I don't know what I'm allowed to say on TikTok. As much as you guys think these things about me just because of the line of work that I do, I just do what I have to do to make ends meet. That has nothing to do with anything. I don't put out the first time meeting somebody because I have a lot of trauma and I get nervous and scared.
No one's ever going to believe that when you're posting the stuff you post and you do the stuff you do. When you say things like this, I'll just post one thing on her Twitter. Like, it's a whole mess of provocative posts, like very degenerate. You can go through all of her posts there and it's 99% like this. Like, when you're posting stuff like this, no one is ever going to believe that you're not promiscuous and you don't put out like that, even though it could be true. Okay, so she's crying here. Some people have pointed out that she cries with no tears. Now, I'm not an expert in body language or anything like that, but usually people will point that to crocodile tears. I'm not going to say that's what she's doing. She's faking her cries. I'm not going to make a stance on that one way or the other. I'm just trying to be neutral and logical in this whole thing. I mean, that is kind of logical, right? I'm trying to stay neutral as much as possible, guys, okay? I'm trying not to go too much in one side. But she says here she has, like, trauma and stuff. She's been through stuff in her past, which I feel very bad for if that's true. No one should be going through things like that, right? Unfortunately, it does play into a bit of the story here when she mentions it again, I think in the next video when I get there.
I will try to find security footage. Legally, they have to be able to pull this up, right? Like, Alex can't, like, somehow, like, get it erased. That would literally not be fair. I'm gonna try my hardest to find the security footage. If it actually ends up, like, going to court or like something happens. I don't know what I was expecting. I just posted it because I just wanted to talk about it.
Okay, that's very important. If she can get footage of this stuff, go get the footage. Now, her saying that maybe Alex Pereira can get that deleted, I don't think he can do that. I don't know too much about CCTV and who can get a hold of it, deleting it and all that stuff. I don't think Pereira can do that. And if he does, I think they can track it too. So if she launches some kind of investigation and finds out that he was deleting security footage in different places, that would be a very big crime against him if he was able to. Now, that's playing on her side. Going on the other side, though, her even mentioning that Pereira could possibly do that could be an indication that if she doesn't ever provide footage forward, any kind of evidence that she needs here, which is the footage, that's the biggest evidence she could bring forward. It's kind of like plausible deniability, where she can just say, yo, I couldn't get the footage because Pereira may have deleted it, right? I tried to get it, they couldn't find it. I think Pereira might have done that. So it could play on both sides here.
I go to the bathroom with my friend after Alex has been coming on to me the whole night, and I feel sick and uncomfortable and like I'm about to throw up. I tell her in the bathroom, at no point during this whole entire visit with these people are you to leave me, because I'm not comfortable. We agree that we won't leave each other at any point, because Mel, the assistant and the translator, is also hitting on my friend, who's 20 years old. I don't know how old this man was.
So she points it forward. Again, she's uncomfortable, she feels sick, she doesn't trust these guys, but she's still going to go forward with them. She's still going to follow them, she's still going to go wherever they want to go. That's the part that just doesn't make sense to me. That's the part that really doesn't seem logical. It doesn't make sense. If she felt that uncomfortable, that unsafe, that untrusting of these men that she doesn't know Pereira, she doesn't know Mel allegedly, why would she continue with the night and not just go home? And she's with her friend, she's not with Pereira, right? She's talking with her friend. I don't know, man. If I'm in a place that I'm uncomfortable, especially in her case, like Pereira, according to her story, is trying to kiss her, look her up or down, trying to touch her, bring her to the bathroom, giving her drinks. Like there's so many pointers with her feeling uncomfortable, according to her, that makes it hard to believe why she was continuing with the night with this man that she doesn't trust.
I'm trying to tell Alex's assistant to tell Alex that I don't put out like that after I meet someone for the very first time, and that I need him to get to know me and to work for it. I, quote, said to his translator, trying not to be a prude and annoying, but I told him, I was like, how do I say you have to work for it?
Wait. Hold on. Not only does she pursue the night forward with him, but she told him, you gotta work for me. I gotta stay neutral. I'm not gonna say anything else. But I'm gonna stay neutral as much as I can. I'm not gonna assume things. I'm just gonna point out the logic and whether what she's saying is true or false, according to some of the stuff that I found and some of my detectives, my team, has found as well. Because we do have some details about this girl. They're not major stuff, but there's some other stuff behind the scenes that either prove or don't prove some of the stuff she's saying.
His assistant laughs, tells Alex, and Alex tells his assistant to tell us that he really likes us and he's going to take us on a trip to the Dominican Republic to get to know us better, because I guess he's trying to, like, convince me that he's not, you know, just trying to take advantage of me. So I'm like, okay, like, that's great. I don't have a passport. Like, can you, like, let me know, like, when this is happening so I can, like, pack and, like, get ready for it? Like, I mean, I make my own money and I don't need this man's money. It's not me trying to get his money. I literally could not care less if I don't get anything out of this except for to find my own voice again.
Okay, hold up now. Let me compose myself here. She is considering to go to the Dominican Republic on a vacation with Alex Pereira after all this. She wanted time to get packing, get her clothes, and ready to go on vacation with him. Didn't she say she doesn't know who this guy is? You just met this man who made you feel uncomfortable, tried to kiss you, tried to take you to the bathroom, gave you drinks, trying to touch you, look you up and down, all this stuff. And you know his intent. Like you said it, you know what he wants. And you told him you have to work for it. And now you're willing to go to a vacation with this guy? And a neutral, Weasel. Neutral.
I just wanted to talk about my story. I was not expecting his fans to be as bad as he is, but I guess I should have known. We have to split up because it's time to go to the UFC fight. His translator and Alex go on their own. Me and my friend take an Uber. It goes terribly. The fight ends. Afterwards, his assistant Mel sends an Uber to our location after the UFC fight and brings us back to the courtyard Marriott where we were going to go out. We were going to go there, and they were going to drive us, and they were talking about going to, I don't know, they were talking about going to strip clubs, and they were...
Okay, so that's the first video. They went to the fights, they came back, and they're gonna go to some other spots.
Just to be clear also, that picture that I posted where everyone is saying that it looks like I'm a fan that asked him to take a picture with me, I did not ask for that picture. I asked for no pictures. I didn't know who this man was. My friend asked for pictures with him after asking me to record her sparring with him, and then he asked on everyone that I know and love's life. He asked for pictures with me. I did not ask for those pictures. He asked his assistant to ask my friend after he asked to take the pictures. He asked his assistant to ask my friend to have me send the pictures to her, and then she sends it to my assistant because he wanted the pictures, because it was probably a trophy for him. I did not ask for those pictures. That's besides the point, but...
Okay, so that's a strong conviction right there. Like, she's hammering it hard that Alex Pereira was the one that wanted those pictures. It wasn't her. She sounds convincing, but we need evidence on that. But that's not too important, right? That's a minor detail that should be brought with some evidence that will corroborate with her story a bit, but it's not like the main thing or that important compared to the other stuff she was talking about.
Basically, his assistant sends us an Uber to where we are after the UFC fight and brings us back to the courtyard Marriott where we were supposed to be waiting for Alex to get back from an interview, I think he said, and then we were going to go out. He was talking about going to strip clubs and like having a fun night while we were all in New Jersey, New York for the weekend. We wait for like 2 hours for Alex to come while his friend is on the phone talking about like kids with cancer and big money transfers and things that had to do with Alex. And we were like, hey, it's getting kind of late. Like, is Alex coming? Like, what's the plan? Should we just go back home? Because we're kind of tired. Like, if we're going to have plans, can we, like, get on with it? Because it's already getting very late. At this point, I think it was, like, 2 or 3 in the morning.
Wait, hold on. Okay, after everything that just happened, how uncomfortable she's been, she wants the night to keep going. Like, she's like, yo, it's getting late. Wait, we might go home if we don't do anything. She really wants to hang out with Alex Pereira. And that implies that she could have went home this entire time. She told Mel, yo, we might go home if it gets too late. Because the whole trapping thing is a very important thing when it comes to cases of SA, that usually there's some kind of coercion or some kind of trapping, whether it's talking them into certain things or physically trapping them. But it seems like none of that is happening here, according to what she's saying. Now, there could be further details or evidence or whatever she could provide forward that proves otherwise, but as of just what we have of her story, which is the only thing she's come forward with, she is implying that she was free to leave and go home with her friend whenever she wanted, even telling Mel, yo, we might go home because it's getting too late if we don't do anything, you know, if we don't have more fun or go certain places or whatever it is with Pereira.
Eventually, Alex comes to the hotel room after the interview that he was at, and he says that he doesn't want to go out. He wants to enjoy the time that he has with the people he's with. Some bullshit like that. And then he takes off his clothes, gets into bed, orders food, and then is trying to get me to get into bed with him.
Now here's when it gets into the alleged SA part.
My friend and me and the translator are all sitting on the couch, and he's just sitting in bed staring at me and telling his translator to tell me things and trying to convince me to get into bed with him. I eventually get into bed with him because I was naive, I guess. I didn't think that anything was going to happen. My friend was there with me. I had told her not to leave me at any point. She had told me not to leave her with the assistant at any point. I thought that we were going to be fine. I thought I was going to be able to maybe try and get myself comfortable by getting into bed with him and cuddling with him if there was people in the room. I just have problems of my own. I have trauma. This is not the first time that this has happened to me. I was just naive, I guess. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know why I got into bed with him. My friend was there. So was the assistant. I thought I was going to be fine.
Okay, hold on. This story is all over the place now. So she gets into bed with him, knowing full well what his intentions are this entire night. As she said before, you know, you got to work for this. Well, He wants her to get in bed with her, allegedly. She jumps in bed with him and wants to cuddle with him to be more comfortable. What? Okay. There could be some kind of trauma response, potentially something going on in her head that makes her think, yo, if I just cuddle with this man, I'm going to feel more comfortable. Maybe the night will just go away and stuff, but you could have left. And okay, sure, it's possible. It's not believable, but it is possible. But then here's where the big contradicting thing happens. She said that that has happened to her before. She's been through this before, but she's also naive. So she didn't know what was happening, essentially. I don't know, man. I don't know about that. Like, it's not good to like point at someone's traumatic past and bring that in some kind of way where she should have learned from it and maybe not be as naive as she is, but it could be possible, maybe. But when she says that she's been through that before, she had experience of that before, right? She went through that traumatic experience. She would probably know, or her body might actually fight against it naturally to be in that same position again. But she willingly went forward into the position where she says she experienced a traumatic event for her. Why would she willingly go in there and then claim she was naive when this has happened to her before? I'm just bringing up questions here. It could have happened, maybe. It just doesn't seem believable, especially with all of the red flags according to her story throughout the night. The fact that it seems like she could have canceled this entire night and went home. That's what it seems like. But she continued to keep going forward. Again, remember telling Pereira you gotta work for it, and she was considering even going on vacation with this man that she had never met before. And now she's cuddling with him.
He starts touching me down there repeatedly. I keep pushing him off. I keep pushing his hand off. I keep bringing his hand back up to like my waist so that we can just like cuddle, because I'm comfortable with cuddling. I'm not comfortable with putting out with somebody that I don't know. I just met literally for the first time. He's huge, scary, doesn't speak any of my language, and I wasn't comfortable putting out with him because that's just not what I do.
So that's a big thing. If he was actually doing that, if he was touching and she kept moving his hand away and stuff, like, he should definitely stop in that case and not advance on her. But at the same time, she should not be in bed cuddling with this guy that she feels uncomfortable with. And she says she doesn't put out with guys that she doesn't know. He's a big, scary man. But you're willing to go through this whole night with him, and you're also willing to go on vacation with him. What could be possible is she said that in a way to just detract from what was going on and maybe relax her mind a bit, possibly. But that's really giving her a big benefit of the doubt.
He keeps touching me. I keep pushing him off. Eventually, me and my friend say that we're very tired and we would like to go to sleep. They turn all the lights off. My friend and the assistant get into bed. It's a queen-size bed that they get into. I'm in a queen-size bed right next to it with Alex. Me and my friend are on the inside of the bed looking at each other under the blankets. He keeps pulling the blanket over me, keeps trying to touch me. I feel suffocated. I feel uncomfortable. I don't know what to do. I've pushed him off so many times at this point, and he's not taking the hint, and these men are clearly not caring about my comfortability. Mind you, again, I don't know what I was thinking. I was naive, I guess. I guess you could say I asked for it by getting into bed with him. I didn't know that this was going to happen. I'm pushing him off of me. He won't get off. He eventually pulls my underwear and my pants down to around like halfway on my thighs, and I push him off again. He gets out of bed. He starts screaming and putting his socks and his clothes on. I'm terrified because I don't know what's happening. My pants are around my legs after I had told him no and pushed him off, and he's screaming in another language. Me and my friend are looking at each other, hiding under the blankets, like about to start bawling our eyes out. And he starts telling his translator that he doesn't want to sleep in the same room with him and my friend, and that he wants them to leave. His translator and my friend leave the hotel room. His translator and my friend leave the hotel room. He immediately starts trying to take my clothes off.
Now, that's another piece to point out. Her friend is also traumatized. At least that's what she's implying. They're both about to bawl out and cry and stuff. So not only is she claiming that she's traumatized, but so is her friend. And her friend leaves the room, right? This could be a reason as to why they unfollowed each other. Maybe because they told each other they wouldn't leave each other there. Potentially. But at the same time, if her friend left the room, like, maybe she could have gotten help. Maybe she could have called the police. Maybe she could have done something. Who knows, though, what the situation was. There was nothing claimed of what Mel was doing, right? She didn't claim that Mel was holding her friend against her will or anything like that. Maybe it was part of it, we just don't know. But that claim has not even been made at all, so we can't even think that was happening. As far as we know, her friend was out of the room. She could have helped her friend out or whatever it was. And also Meredith here could have potentially, as far as it seems like according to the story, leave the room as well, because it doesn't seem like Pereira was fighting to hold her there. And if Pereira would try to fight this girl and keep her in the room, that would be much easier to prove, of course. Nobody should be able to hold you against your will in a room like that. This girl, if this allegedly happened to her, she should be trying to leave.
He starts trying to take my socks off. I try to tell him no, because I have blisters on my feet from walking around New York in heels for like 10 hours the night before, and I had band-aids on my blisters, and they were going to get ripped off with my socks. I tried to explain to him, don't take my socks off, please. He didn't understand that, so at that point, I'm like, okay, fuck. I'm in a room with a huge man that doesn't speak English. He's not understanding what I'm saying. He doesn't give a because I've pushed him off so many times, and he doesn't care, and he, like, got up and screamed and scared me into staying in the room with him and making his assistant and my friend leave the room. At this point, I know what's happening. I've been through this before. I know that it's just easiest if I just shut my mouth, do what I have to, put on whatever performance that I have to make it end. He puts me on top of him so that I don't know how much of this I'm allowed to say on TikTok. He puts me on top of him so that I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but he puts me on top of him so that we're 69ing. I think that it's just going to be, like, normal. Like, he just pressured me into having sex, and he scared me into having sex with him. It's whatever, like, it's nothing that hasn't happened to me before. Like, I'll just, keep it inside like I usually do and just live with it. He starts using multiple of his fingers, forcefully pushing them into my ass. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this or not. Everybody's asking for an explanation, so here it is. This is literally just the truth. It's disgusting and embarrassing, and I've tried to make this video so many times, and I keep crying, and I just feel disgusting and humiliated and violated, and I know people are going to laugh at me, and people are going to say that I deserved it and think that it's funny what I'm about to say. You can laugh, it's whatever, and, like, I just thought that, like, this would help me heal by talking about it. He's basically fisting my this point. It hurts really bad, and I'm blacking out and disassociating and, like, just trying not to be there while it's happening. Before his assistant had left the room, I had told him to please tell Alex that I was very nervous. I don't put out on the first time meeting somebody like that. Please emphasize to Alex that I'm very nervous. I haven't had sex with a lot of people. I have a lot of sexual trauma. I freeze up in the moment, and I am not able to have sex with people like that when I first meet them, and I told his translator to tell him that. He picks me up from off of on top of him, asks me, the only time he spoke English this entire time that I was with him was to ask me to help him put it in. I tried to put it in, but I was nervous, so I couldn't. So he did it, and he put it in my ass, and then he to me.
This is a bit of the smoking gun for anyone who doesn't believe in her story. For two different reasons. Number one, the entire night, as long as they've known each other, Pereira did not speak a lick of English to her whatsoever. She kept talking to the translator. She emphasized that over and over again throughout her story. And now for the first time, his only English words was put it in your behind. Pereira speaks a tiny bit of English. He knows certain words, but it's very hard to believe those are his first English words to her. Possible, but not entirely believable. And the second part of the smoking gun is that she said she tried to put it in. She tried to put it in. It's possible that he said that to her and he coerced her or talked her way into doing it, but it's going to be very hard for her to prove that part of her story, which is actually the most important part of her story.
Afterwards, he got up, he took a shower, I laid in bed, just kind of like disassociated, not even really like realizing what had just happened. I'm scared as fuck and I don't know if I can use the shower and I'm scared to ask him. So I just go to the bathroom and I sit on the toilet for a few minutes while I literally I come back to bed after going to the bathroom. He kisses me on the forehead and he spoons me to sleep.
Now, for people that don't know what disassociation is, I majored in psychology, I understand what it is. It's when you kind of separate your thoughts and emotions and pretty much like yourself in a way from an event that happened. And sometimes it could be from a traumatic event. Now, it depends if she had dissociative amnesia or if she suffers from some kind of dissociative disorders. And one big symptom of it is that you forget certain things that happened in that traumatic event. The fact that she was able to remember what happened and remembered how she felt from the fist part to the penetration and stuff. I don't know if she's just using the word incorrectly. It will make a lot of people think that, okay, she's trying to gain sympathy by using some kind of sad condition. But she remembers, like, it seems like a lot of the details and how she felt. Like, she remembers her emotions. She remembers the events that happened. She remembers her thoughts, like she was playing into it. That was her thoughts. So it could be comfortable and she could just go through the night. That doesn't strike me as someone who's disassociating. But I could be wrong, right? I'm not a psychologist. But that's just off of my understanding of what disassociation is.
His translator and my friend came in the next morning, woke us up. I get dressed. They get us an Uber. We go back to our hotel, pack up our stuff. And that's it. That's what happened. I don't really know what else to say, and I don't really, like, expect everybody to believe me. I knew that nobody was gonna believe me just based off of that TikTok that I posted. I guess I just wasn't expecting as many threatening comments.
So after the traumatic experience right there, where she was disassociating, she was able to fall asleep. She woke up, her friend and Mel are back, and they just go home. Where's the police report? Where is all of that stuff? Like, why didn't she go to the authorities? There are people where they go through something like this and they want to kind of just deal with it in their head, but she never went to the authorities ever up until this day. At least she never mentioned that she did, and that would be a very big detail to leave out. I'm staying neutral, but if there was a reason for me to not believe this story, it's that. Why didn't she ever go to the police? Why didn't she ever try to file some kind of report and bring forward an investigation which will expose all of this front screen for everybody? Why is she going to TikTok? The first place she went to is TikTok, and not the police, not the authorities. With all the red flags throughout her whole story that she continued to pursue throughout the night and hang out with Alex Pereira, a man that she claimed she had no idea who he was, but she was willing to do certain things with him, like go to the fights with him, go to the gym that he was at, willing to go on vacation according to her words, willing to sleep with him if he worked for it. Who knows what that means? Maybe it means like going on dates with her and whatever it is. And never once went to the police. Instead goes to vent on it on TikTok to spread it as far as she can amongst a larger audience. I mean, look at the tags on her post. Hashtag MMA, hashtag UFC 302, hashtag UFC, hashtag MMA, hashtag Alex Pereira, hashtag Alex Politan Pereira, hashtag Muay Thai, MMA sparring, kickboxing, boxing, essay, Survivor Me Too mystery. She's not just venting, she's trying to spread her story on social media. It's not just a vent. Why spread it to social media but not to the police, where it actually matters? This is a big reason why a lot of people do believe that she's trying to get clicks on her OF through this story and bring on as much traction as possible to it. And she's brought the traction. She's got a lot of people talking about it. I mean, it's the biggest name in the UFC. He's the most relevant fighter in MMA in the height of his career. So of course she's going to get that kind of traction. And of course, without a doubt, I believe there have been people that have subscribed to her OF off of this. How many? I have no idea. And I don't know if there is a way to find out unless she actually shows how many new subscribers she has gotten. Of course, it's going to come with a lot of hate. And it seems like she's gotten way more hate than any support because there isn't really any evidence. And we've seen many fake allegations in the past, 5 years or so. Way too many fake allegations at this point where people are not even willing to believe it on face value anymore. 7 to 10 years ago, yeah, people would just kind of believe it because it was much rarer to see. But now, because of all the fake allegations, it's like, okay, innocent until proven guilty, and that's how it should be. Alex Pereira, in my opinion, is innocent until he's proven guilty. We could say something about her story playing against her entire claim here because it is contradicting a bit and it seems a bit illogical with certain events, but it's not proof necessarily, right? The SA could have allegedly still happened. Like, believe me, when I saw the story at first, I didn't really believe it. I couldn't prove that it didn't happen, but in the beginning it was more of like an emotional response where I'm like, okay, this girl is just not telling the truth. It looks like she is after something. In fact, a lot of fake allegations, they're after two different things. They're either, number one, trying to destroy someone's career or destroy their image, or number two, trying to gain something out of it. And in her case, the thing that she could gain are OF subscriptions, which means more money. So if this actually happened to her, if her story is true, I hope she goes to the authorities and I hope they lock up Pereira for that. He needs to be behind bars if he did something like that. But if she is proven false, or if she does not come forward with the evidence and brings it forward to the authorities, she, in my opinion, should get locked up for the exact same time as the offense would be. That's my opinion. I think if anybody brings forward a false accusation, they should get locked up as what the offense would be. And for Alex Pereira, I don't know what he should do because there is no evidence. So is it even worth for him to talk about it? But at the same time, it is spreading around a lot. So maybe he just says, yo, this never happened, right? If he just said that, I think that's the best course to take if he is innocent. It's just to tell everybody, yo, this girl's just lying. And that's it. If he just says she's lying, none of that happened, and he's innocent in it, then it's all brought upon her to bring forward the evidence and nothing else. If she brings no evidence, we just walk and move forward. And remember, this girl is some clout chasing OF girl looking for some subs. But if Pereira is proven guilty, the man should get locked up for that. I mean, it's completely foul. My detectives have come out and found a couple things about this girl, and I wanted to bring this up at the end of the video. Maybe it's going to sway you one way or another, but that's not what I'm trying to do. It is a piece of information that is kind of important that can change the whole dynamic as to whether you believe this or not. The day after, on June 3rd, the day after this whole story allegedly happened, she was posting booty pics. She was on her OF posting content. She posted a TikTok video, which she deleted, by the way, or was taken down by TikTok. The video was there on June 3rd. Of her dancing with a bottle in her hand. Now it isn't there. Why? It doesn't give off the impression or an optics of a person that is traumatized by something that happened the day before. Okay, so she just posted some of the text messages between her friend and Mel, as well as one text between her and her friend. They're all screenshots, so automatically the credibility of these aren't that great. We want to see screen recordings, not screenshots. And she also blocked out the name of who she's texting, as well as not showing the entire conversation. But let's see what she posted. Okay. Melvin Alexander Javel. That's Alex Pereira's friend, also a pro fighter. So this is the girl's friend, not the girl that's accusing Pereira. She says, I'll be in New York City until Saturday morning, then I'll head down to New Jersey. Oh, this is May. So about a week before the event. Then Mel says, maybe we could find time in our schedules to meet up. Yes, let me know. Shama, what's your number and when are you going to get into the city? Okay, now we skipped a few days, completely skipped over that entire conversation. I don't even know who's speaking here. I guess this is Mel and the friend again. So allegedly, we don't know if this is Mel. He says, who are you coming to the fights with? The girl says, my best friend. She went to the last fight with me. Haha. That's fun. Love that for you. She's sweet to tag along. She's not a big UFC fan. So this does seem to go hand in hand with some of the stuff that the girl was alleging. Okay, other conversation later in the day. Why did I mention you to Alex when we were getting the Lambo? And how about you would be here for the fights? And he goes, does she have a friend? LMAO. Haha, tell him I do. Yes. So this is still matching what the girl was saying. Pereira wanted to see if she had a friend. Next day, by the way, I sent you my friend's Insta. Yo, LMAO. So bro's wearing my glasses right now, and I showed him, and he took his glasses off and said Shama. And you could see that she responded with like a laughing emoji. And then a few hours later, gonna miss the presser. Sean Strickland was a menace. What are the chances we see each other tonight? And Alex is asking about your friend. And then she says, what are y'all doing tonight? And then about Sean Strickland, please, I know. So it seems like the friend, according to these texts, is a big UFC fan. Mel says, what are your plans tonight? And the girl says, we're not sure yet. Probably get dressed up and find somewhere to eat. And then Mel responds, well, I'll be heading to training now and we'll be done in an hour. Let me know if you want to get together later because I'm sure Alex will be down. And we don't even know what time or day that was. Now, next day, on the 31st, you want to come train tomorrow with Alex. Bet when? Okay, so we just missed that entire thing. Did they go to the gym? Did they meet up with Alex? Alex that day? I have no idea. And we're only getting 2 texts, 2 messages out of the entire conversation. And this seems to be Mel according to the top. She goes, I love Dutch, Shama. She says Shama. Just getting here. When you get here, you could park across the street in the parking lot. Okay, bet. A day later, thanks for inviting us. I enjoyed training with y'all. I'm glad you came. Send a pic of Alex in glasses. Did you get to check in to hotel? Okay, so this, according to the story, this is after Alex was allegedly trying to kiss the girl and she was pushing him off. Now, her friend here, according to the text, seems like everything was fine on her end. She didn't see anything crazy. But again, I don't know what this conversation started like, because she started with, I love Dutch. And he says Shama. So I'm guessing like they're planning a date or to go eat somewhere. I filmed the line and it took 3 minutes. My gosh. You want to meet us at ours before we go to the fights? Host Hotel is in Jersey City though. But if you guys want to come out here to get the UFC fan experience vibes, that's cool. It's just hot and everything's outside. She asks, it ends at 5:30. What time are you guys pulling up to the fight? We're heading to our hotel now. Want to meet us there? He's going to leave around 8:30ish though because he wants to see one of the guys fight. Do y'all want to grab dinner? We can meet at your hotel. Yes, of course. I think we're just Ubering around. It'll be easier, honestly. Come now. Takes like 30 from Newark, cause traffic. Okay, so it seems like they're just scheduling a date or something. All right, so something with an Uber at the top there. Chill, I got you. Is it crazy where you are? I'll order you an Uber. Just try and get somewhere. Not where everyone is, so it's not as crazy to try and find. Okay, we're walking further, but it's sketch. Chill, just find like a storefront or something with a name and let me know and I'll order it and share the Uber link with you. Okay, we're in front of the National Newark building. Okay, and then a picture, I guess, of her friend sparring with Alex Pereira. And as you can see, this does look like Cruz MMA with the blue mats and stuff. Okay, and this is the girl with the story and Pereira might be looking at her or whoever is right in between them. So this is allegedly on the same day on June 1st. June 6th, okay, so we jump 5 days. So this, I'm guessing, is from the girl with the story. I feel like every morning I wake up, I feel worse, and it's more clear to me that they manipulated us and used us / SA'd us. I've been disassociated ever since I left that hotel. LMFAO. Nothing feels real, and you can see that whoever she's texting hearted that comment right there. I'm guessing she's talking to her friend, but we just don't know. I wish she posted the whole conversation and not just a wall of her texts here, because you can see at the bottom that her friend or whoever she's texting is texting back. And I wonder what they had to say. Well, she goes, nothing feels real. They knew older women wouldn't put up with that! Exclamation point emoji. So they preyed on us low key. I can't tell who's a bigger POS. Mel for pretending to be a safe person for us and acting like a very easy person to open up to, or Alex for telling him to do that, SAing me, and not thinking twice about it. I really wonder what that person was going to respond with, because they're responding to the first text, and you can see they did not reply with any kind of emoji or anything like that. And as we know, if this is her friend Jessie, we know that they unfollowed each other, and it could, hypothetically, maybe, it could have been something in these text messages. Maybe she disagreed with her. Who knows what the story is? And again, also, take a lot of this with a grain of salt, because these are screenshots of text messages. We have no idea who she's speaking to. We don't know who's even texting. These are also from different apps, it seems like. And I'm pretty sure every new phone has a screen recorder. So that's all of her text messages. So all the other stuff before this last wall of text was pretty much just corroborating with what she was saying, how the days were going with the dates and stuff like that. But the best thing for her to do is to show the entire conversation with a screen record, because a lot of context can be missed and people are just not going to believe it if you're just posting screenshots of portions of the conversation. We've seen in the past, people have done this before to spin the conversation and how they wanted to portray it. So that's part of the stuff that I found as well. And if any other kind of evidence comes up or any other allegation from her or Pereira, I'll keep you guys updated. So leave the comments below what are your guys' thoughts on all of this, and I'll see you in the next video. Sherlock Weasel out.